Nodus is a two-person microbrand operating out of LA, California, and although the brand is quite young, only being established in 2017, they do have some cool watches. Today we are going hands-on with one of the watches from their Sector collection. The collection is inspired by classic Sector dial watches. That's where the name derives from, but the execution is quite different. It's modern and sporty. So the watch we're looking at today is sent in by my mate Philos, and it is the Nodus Sector Field. At first glance, the Sector Field very much fits the idea of what a field watch should look like. The Sector's 316L stainless steel case is a mix of vintage and modern design and comes in a compact 38mm case, which is appropriate for a modern field watch. The height, on the other hand, is a bit on the thicker side at 12.9mm, but on the wrist the use of bevels on the top and bottom of the case and a nice stepped bezel diminishes the height, and which makes it wear like a much thinner watch. The lug-to-lug of 47mm gives the Sector Field a solid presence. The vintage feel comes through the absence of crown guards for its signed oversized screw-down crown, and the watch offers 150 meters of water resistance. The finishing on the Sector Field case is excellent, especially at this price point. The watch has mostly bead blasted finish with polished highlights. The semi-matte blasted finish makes the Sector Field look even more tool-like. The watch really sits well on my 6.9-inch wrist and feels super comfortable. I have a 38mm field watch in my collection, which is the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical, and I do see this as something to rival that, as they are both 38mm and around the same price range. But they have their own unique dials, as the Khaki is very much a reissue of its vintage and the Nodus is a cross between a modern and classic style dial. While many brands stick to just flat printed dials or at most dials with applied markers, Nodus likes to play with layers, and the Sector Field is no exception. There is no proper definition for a Sector dial, but most watches have concentric rings inside and outside the hour-minute markers, and there is different finishing used to differentiate between sections. The Nodus Sector Field employs this idea, but by playing with dimensions through different levels and layers. The inner ring is an elevated platform with dark red accents that are actually a step below the top surface, with some sandwich-like cutouts in the dial. There is a small scale of numerals for 13 to 24, like the classic field watches of the past. The next step out features Arabic numerals in a distinct typeface that looks cool with the silver creamy dial. Finally, there is an elevated chapter ring in dark grey with white markers for each minute and a deep maroon mark for every 5. In the center, you'll find a crosshair mark in the same sandwich style as the circular lines, flanked above by the Nodus name and logo below the 12 o'clock and Sector in a smaller font below. Capping of the dial is a neat double-dome sapphire crystal that features a beveled edge and a unique internal curvature that creates a curved pie pan effect on the dial at low angles. Altogether, these various components create a legible dial that feels quite dynamic while still being very much traditional in design. Inside the case of the Sector, behind a solid case back, is the Seiko NH38. Nodus has taken the Japanese manufacturer's -20 to +40 seconds per day accuracy range and tightened it up to a rating of ±10 seconds per day, thus eliminating the wide accuracy range issue of the otherwise robust NH series. The movement isn't all too exciting, but with the changes Nodus provides, you get a solid, good value movement in the watch with some peace of mind that it has been checked on. The bracelet it comes on looks good, fully brushed with sections that taper from 20mm to 18mm. It looks quite utilitarian, but I have not had the chance to try it, as when my mate brought it over, it was on this leather strap. And actually, this is what I would keep it on, as it looked really nice on it. This watch is currently not available on Nodus's website, and it states that the series will soon return with new color variants and also new sport and pilot variants to add to the Sector collection. The Sector Field has a sturdy and reliable feel of a great field watch, and field watches are supposed to do two things well: be legible and be accurate, and the Nodus Sector Field excels at both of these. And as I mentioned earlier, this watch is definitely an option if you're not a fan of the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical but want a field watch in the same price range, And this watch even offers a better water resistance than the Hami. Let me know in the comments down below guys, what do you think of Nodus and their Sector collection? And which one would you choose? Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical or the Nodus Sector Field? If you like this video, do smash that like button and also follow me on Instagram at WiningOnTheMove. Until next time, cheers.